Hello folks, we have not met for a very long time. I'm not dead, I'm not imprisoned by the government, I'm not giving up. This project just takes so much time to implement that sometimes I have the feeling that our current civilization will collapse before I can release a beta of this thing. Let's get down to the business.
If you remember, Fortari has a screen layout for every bank selected with no special conditions like music or wave storage, so you have a screen divided into three main layers. The one in the middle, which can be turned off, is the game field that you can mostly control and program. The other two works the same, but one takes the top and the other the bottom part of the screen. These screen parts are pretty static. If you are familiar with Unity, they are like assets controlled through variables. There are some those are ready to go, but they are not included here yet, like the big sprite, the selection menu, the dynamic text, or the jukebox. Yeah, the music player will be an invisible part of the screen as well. There are some really basic stuff integrated now, like the frame color changer. It's basically just a tool to change the background color on the fly, since you are not allowed to run game logic code during the display section of the frame. But the background is basically connecting the items, you might need a little control over it. Mostly you set the parameters to a constant value, or you can use a compatible variable. Sometimes it has to be a full byte, a byte or nibble, or maybe anything. I would say if the variable is some data to be displayed, it can be fed with anything, while containers keeping the screen items dynamic must be bytes or sometimes at least nibbles. If you press testing, you are allowed to set the variables you set for your items, except the random at the counter, because they have a special role in the system. You can set constants in decimal, hexadecimal or binary format, or with a slice symbol you can set how many frames should happen for your variable to be incremented. This is something that could be shown better with this 64 pixels picture. As it slowly scrolled, I added detection if there is no 34 pixels picture present, so you won't get any exception with 0 files. Let's go for the indicators, since they are the most complex and dynamic things you can add to your screen. They have their own submenus, so you can change them on the fly, but you have to know that changing the template will initialize the data and you have to start over, and at first these panels could be really scary. We are going in alphabetical order. Full bar uses the play field to display the value of the input data. The best usage is player health, boss health, or some kind of energy meter. In the bar kind of indicators you will see a constant value called max value. Because bars have a fixed length in playfield pixels, this determines how fast or slow the given value fills the bar. In full bar mode you can set 3 constant colors for the bar, also use a gradient to make it look prettier. And there's more! Depending on the value, luminance is added to the display. If you select a variable to feed the color, where only one nibble is enough, the bar can have only one color, but it can change depending on your wish. Half bar with text is more complex but still very self-evident. It has the same basic concept has one variable that is displayed by a line of two playfield items. It has the same gradient settings and also the same way to give the maximum value for scaling and the way to set the line color. In this case, you can set dots instead of a full line, so you can show lives or bombs instead of health or energy. In the asset, the main attraction is the static text up to 8 characters with the same font that is used to generate the font for menus, the only difference that you are not able to edit the result. You are able to bind the colors to your variable, so you can create cool loops through colors or what you want. Also, you can align text to left or right, it's up to your taste. In this thing, text is created by moving the sprites left or right 8 pixels every line, so it has a small flicker. One icon with digits is an asset using sprite 0 as an icon and sprite 1 to display up to 4 numbers, so the numbers will have a little flicker since they are displayed with the same trick as the text of half bar with text. On the 2600, to display data, the easiest way is to store one number in a nibble as a binary code, a decimal number, so 2 digits will need 1 byte to be stored. The icon can be set to be mirrored, or you can set it double or quarter in width. Numbers can have color as the text showed before, and you can also set fonts. Those can be ordinary sprites or big sprites as well if they have a height of 8 pixels. Big sprites are kind of limited in these assets since doubles would be really hard to display with this strict timing. If you select overlay, the 2 sprite layers will be displayed on different frames, so there will be a little flicker. For font, you can select the default or the digital font, or you can create your own, making a sprite with 10 sprites with digits from 0 to 9. Big sprites should be set to simple mode and also they must be 8 pixels tall. Not displayed digits are, by the way, overlaid by the playfield, which has the same color as the background. 7 digits, what would you expect, is used to display up to 7 digits with the rules we talked about earlier. In this case, if you select less than 5 digits, the sprites won't be flickered, but I guess you will need more to display scores. Another feature is the slot machine mode. For this, I set the variable to a really slow incrementation. In this case, you should have a font with 11 items where the first and the last are both zeros, so the slot machine can have a full circle. 12 icons or digits is a lot similar to one icon with digits, but not the same. It can be forced to display digits only, but the real magic with it is that it is perfect for displaying lives or anything that is countable. Under 7 it will display up to 6 icons the normal way. Between 7 and 12 the icons will be flickered every line by 8 pixels. If you go above, the 1 icon and 3 digits will be displayed. This is the only digit kernel that stores the data in 1 byte, since a converter code by Omega Matrix, which will be used in the code compiler as well, converts an 8-bit binary number to a 2 digits BCD number and stores the hundreds in another byte. In this case, there is no flicker with digits, but since 1 digit is created modifying the 0 sprite, you cannot stretch the icon or make it mirrored. By the way, the niches values are not modified, I only overlay not needed icons with the playfield. The last indicator is by far the most interesting and hardest from the programmer's perspective. It displays 2 icons and 2 lines, or dots if you want that, with unique colors. This is the kernel that really requires fine timing. Also, the data is not aligned perfectly on the PF registers, and both versions have the ball to replace one part of the first bar because of delay in colors save timing. One is aligned to match the icon-based indicators, while the one aligned to the right is better to the bar-based ones, but yeah, this one can display 2 different data at the same time with unique color settings.
So these were the so-called indicators. As I mentioned, I have to integrate some elements I implemented before, and after that I'm gonna do a really special part of the screen, the special effects. It will contain smoke, water waves, fire, sky, etc. Then I'm gonna add 2 more sound chips to the VGM converter support, and after that finally I can do the main programmer part. Stay tuned!